The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello everyone and good evening and welcome back from the glorious Independence holiday weekend. I'm your host Wes Forsyth. This is Scarefest TV and our guests tonight are the Bluegrass Ghost Hunters. I have decided, go ahead and pull everybody up. Everybody, we're a few minutes late getting started tonight because of course everybody knows when Windows updates hits, it blows everything out of the water. So, I need to actually turn off that little thing across my forehead. So let's turn that off and so people can see my glorious face. Everybody, we're here with the Bluegrass Ghost Hunters. We've got Beth Lawson, Chrissy Akey, and Nick Erskine. It's a good thing I wrote that out phonetically so that I know how to pronounce your name. I have decided, based on my views of Facebook comments, that age is just a number. The way you actually tell how old someone is, when they stop setting off fireworks, they're an adult. When they bitch about them all going on after 10 p.m. and during the week, then you're old. That is my observations on the Independence holiday weekend. I remember once you reach the age where you no longer are willing to lose a digit, then you become an adult, and then when you're telling your neighborhood to shut up and everything, then you're just plain old. Everybody, Scarefest is coming up, of course, October 22nd through 24th. Everything is still on track. We do not have, to answer in the chat room, we do not have any announcements tonight, other than the Bluegrass Ghost Hunters, which will be speaking. That is because since the holiday and everybody took off, I have not talked to a damn soul. They might have a list that long they have. I don't know. Anyway, Bluegrass Ghost Hunters will be presenting at the Scarefest. We're going to talk about their presentation and their experiences out in the field with you tonight. And basically what they're going to be presenting. Oh, goody! Our internet just went sideways, or Zoom went down, or whatever. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, because it's still.
Yeah, it's still broadcasting. It's see that means it wasn't my internet. I'm still broadcasting. So we're going to try to get everybody back on. Zoom. right.
There we are.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. As soon as we get everybody back here, there we go. Nick's back. Okay, now let's just try this again. I can edit that in post, as we say in the business. Bluegrass Ghost Hunters, their presentation. By the way, sometimes when I have ghost hunters on, is anybody on this room a psychic?
No.
Okay.
Psycho, maybe.
There went my excuse. Okay. Their presentation is about places that they've ghost hunted around the state of Kentucky. And according to their bio sheet, they promise not to just do like Bobby Mackey's and Waverly. They're actually going to be talking about some other places that some of us may not be familiar with, or that people like me, I might be familiar with them, but I haven't been to. Now, the first question I want to ask, Lexington. Now, this is where you all are located at. That's where you're based out of. That's where everybody lives. Now, are there any good ghost hunting venues in Lexington that the average person can pick up the phone, talk to somebody, and say, hey, I want to ghost hunt?
The only one that I know of for sure is Waveland Museum. However, with COVID and stuff, I haven't been able.
Good.
Canceled all. They started on.
Okay, we're having connection issues here.
Weird about that. There's been a couple places, and I won't name names, but I've tried to contact them after research and stuff, and they just won't have it. So Waveland's about the only one in Lexington that I know for sure that will do paranormal investigations at some point.
Does anybody have any theory why that is? And the reason I ask that is you can watch Discovery Plus, and obviously ghost hunting is a big selling. Businesses are being built around ghost hunting, or their haunted inn, or their haunted restaurant, or the toilets flush automatic. When I'm telling you that a city the size of Lexington, with the haunted history that Lexington has, is so disappointing to me that that ghost hunting groups, and that's probably why there's not that many really that claim Lexington as their home base. But do you all have any idea? Has anybody ever said why there are no public venues or businesses that just open?
I honestly think it's still like I think it's honestly still a stigma for people in Lexington. Absolutely. Honestly, I think I was emailing one place and they honestly just seemed almost offended that I even asked to come in there. Is that very strange to me?
Very religious.
Yeah. No, wait. Okay, now I know what goes on in Lexington, okay? I do realize we're not as I used to say, we're not the buckle of the Bible Belt. We're like the third hole down from the buckle. But we're fucking Sodom and Gomorrah on a good weekend. I don't get it.
But on the other hand of that, there's one thing about being tolerant of what you're saying, but there's another thing with witchcraft and spirits and speaking to the dead and that kind of thing.
I think a lot of people think it's demonic, like all the way around, and it's not.
So let me amend Christy's comment as saying that it's very religious to saying that it's very pretentious. Lexington, the surrounding area for Sales, Woodford County, they're known for their horses, their big horse farms. Like you said, Kentucky has a very rich, checkered, dark past. There are so many places across the entire state that just beg to be discovered and looked into, that you just can't get into because people just don't want to be known still as this place is haunted or this place has anything going on other than how they want to present it. And I think that's a lot of what we're running into with places in Lexington and the surrounding area.
I'm sure you're right.
They're not ready to open up yet.
I'm sure you're right. But I do know, okay, like in our case, of course, we have the Scarefest, Horror and Paranormal Convention, largest. I mean, if you took all the horror out of the Scarefest and just had the paranormal part of it, we're still like the second or third biggest one in the country. Okay. Then we've got the, of course, Central Kentucky Mystical Market that's going on now once a month. We've got all these things that have made inroads to it that I can't wrap my head around so many people willing to miss the boat. I think that's the way I would put it. I understand Bob down at the hardware store, not wanting to piss off the old lady that comes by once a week to buy cat food. But I don't understand just a blanket ban on being haunted. I don't understand that. Let's go ahead and I've got the mouse. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break now that we've wasted the entire first segment with technical difficulties. But we'll make it up. Okay, everybody, we'll be right back with more Scarefest TV.
TellMeTarot.com. Rare tarot and oracle decks for the discerning enthusiast or collector. Our decks are not for everyone. If you are a rare deck collector, art collector, or simply fall in love with a deck, then we might be for you. Right now, get 10% off your first order just for subscribing to their newsletter. Shipping is just $5.99 in the United States. TellMeTarot.com.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest TV. Let's hope we put these technical difficulties behind us now. Everybody, I actually lost Zoom during the commercial break, but fortunately, you got to see the commercials in all their glory, and that's what's really important around here. Now, okay, we've talked about what a shithole Lexington is for ghost hunters. Now, that being said, let's move up the interstate. Now, I'm going to probably get a plug in for my favorite haunt. I'm from Cynthiana, Kentucky. And the reason I want to bring this up is not only to advertise my favorite haunt, it's that Cynthiana, by and large, is known as a haunted town, and businesses are embracing it. And but if you want to count percentage of people that go to church every Sunday, I guarantee you we kicked Lexington's ass per capita. Now, Ross Opera House, have you all been there?
I've been twice.
Been twice.
Yep.
Impressions of it. How'd you do?
I captured the first time I went, it was just me and my mom, and we caught a pretty good photo of an apparition sitting in one of the chairs downstairs in the actual theater part. So that was pretty good. Caught lots of, not really EVPs, but just sounds on my recorder. So it's a good place to investigate. I definitely want to go back to do it a couple more times and see if I can get anything else. But the picture I got the first time was pretty awesome.
I'll just say next time you go, drop my name. Just remember that.
Okay.
Next time you go, drop my name. And they will embrace you warmly. Of course, we've got the Ross. Now, another place that you all probably haven't been yet because they've really just started doing anything is the Burley Market Cafe. But we have a ghost walk every October. And, I mean, it's just the town embraces its ghost stories, even if it doesn't always embrace the paranormal. I remember we had a paranormal convention there one time at the Ross Opera House. And somebody went on Facebook and said, "Well, you're bringing all these sinners in here for us," some bullshit like that. And, but they shut them down. They said, hey, we're being such a, I forget what was the word they used. Much nicer than I would have been. Between here and there, Northern Kentucky, just go north of Lexington. What is your favorite place? Let's start with there. If you had to go north.
Well, we haven't done a whole lot of northern yet. We have an upcoming private investigation at Bobby Mackey's coming up in the end of August. And I have done Bobby Mackey's once before, but it's honestly not one of my favorite places. I didn't get a whole lot the night that I went.
I think it's highly overrated. I do believe it's haunted. I just think it's highly overrated. Are there, now, the only place I knew of, like in Georgetown, don't let you go sit there. And they actually had a good reason in that.
I think I tried that place too.
They basically they weren't worried about being known as being haunted. They just didn't. They were fixing it up for businesses and stuff, and they just didn't want the interference. They in words, they didn't want to take a poll. Okay. In the state of Kentucky, where have you had the best? I'm going to ask it a couple of different ways. Where have you had, as far as what ghost hunters do, where have you had the best luck collecting what you would consider evidence?
So we have really focused a lot of our efforts to this point down around the Elizabethtown, Bardstown area. So many great places down there that are so welcoming and very, very active. We've had some great experiences. Bethlehem Academy in Elizabethtown. We made it down to the Octagon Hall. That was a great experience. So South
Franklin, Kentucky.
Yeah. That's been a great kind of hit for us. Just to touch back on the Northern Kentucky aspect, we're looking to expand northward soon. I'm actually relocating to Cincinnati. And so we're looking for ideas. We're looking for suggestions. If anybody knows any or has any, we'd love to start moving in a northerly direction. If
they still let you go hunt there, the gambling museum. God, what's the name of that place? Type gambling museum in gosh, I guess, is it Newport? It's not far from Bobby Mackey's. It's a stone's throw from Bobby Mackey's. But I've been there. They were allowing some ghost hunts there for a while. But and it's another. It's the streets ran red with blood during Prohibition times. Now Elizabethtown, have you done the hall? It's not it's a lodge. The lodge.
Oh, the Masonic temple?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, we have.
What was your opinion of that place?
Oh, wow. Nick has a really good opinion of that place.
it was an experience. Yeah.
Different type of place.
Don't leave me hanging.
Well, we don't want to talk it's definitely not as welcoming as places as like the Bethlehem Academy.
Right,
The spirits
okay.
at Bethlehem Academy are super welcoming. The Morrison Masonic Lodge has this very creepy vibe.
It had a
to
darker
it.
edge to it.
Yes. And Nick had an experience there at the end where it actually scratched his arm. And they tell you when they're doing the tour that there's nothing bad there. But honestly, that's not kind of what we experienced. I felt super dark energy the whole time. I am more of a sensitive. And I think Chrissy's a sensitive as well. Chrissy has not been there, but just from start to finish, it was creepy. But we loved it. And we got some good stuff from it.
That's not to discount the fact that exactly, we got good, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good evidence, a lot of good recordings. That part was fantastic, but the overall negative energy and the more nefarious kind of feeling that we got during the entire course of that investigation was quite different than any other place that we've been to. It's not like I said, it's not to say anything bad about it, but it was just it was pretty dark. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to throw out, first of all, okay, part of it. Well, you brought chicks. It's Masonic Hall.
True.
Number one, Nick is a big
Very
weenie. Nick's the biggest weenie of us all.
I'm not saying that. No, believe me.
Just saying.
No. That's not my point. I'm talking about other
correct.
people's prejudices. Or dead people's prejudices. Anyway, I've hunted there, and actually, now it's funny, the 2 times I've been, the first time I did not really register anything, but now the second time I did, it felt very, matter of fact, they were spending the night there, sleeping bags and all, and I didn't want to do it. The place felt that nasty.
Yes.
Yeah, it just,
yes.
Just like there were, but okay,
Now, they are known to bother the women more there. They are. I will say that.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
once again, it was a nice place to hunt. And of course, Elizabethtown is another place that, they've embraced their haunted history. There's several places within walking distance of Morrison, or I'm sorry, the Masonic Hall, that will let you ghost hunt. There's an ice cream shop. I forget what all it is, but anyway, it's been a long time since I've been. Okay, we're going to take our second commercial break, and when we come back, everybody, we'll do the business stuff. But like I said, no celebrity announcements tonight, just pretty much me and my guests. We'll be back in a moment. Mama Ruby offers fun vendor-based events that focus primarily on the metaphysical and spiritual aspects of our lives. Well, 2020 didn't go as planned, to say the least. Since Mama Ruby's can't bring the vendors to you in person, they still encourage you to support them online. For links to these and other outstanding artists, craftspeople, vendors, and psychics, visit mamarubies.com and click shop. And for the business section of our program, everybody, tickets are on sale at thescarefest.com for America's premier horror and paranormal convention, the Scarefest. And I've never given the mouse back to Anita tonight because my desk is covered in papers. So I'm doing it all solo here. She's watching the chat room. Throw Axes with Killers on Friday, October 22nd. Kane Hodder, Rob Mello, Steve Nappy, Robert Mukes, and probably many more. Ari Mahalo. We've got up to like 80 people we can sell tickets to Throw Axes with Killers, and then here pretty soon we'll also have some spectator spots open up. But go to thescarefest.com, click the ticket link, and reserve your space for like 2 solid hours of quality time with your favorite horror celebrity. This weekend, it seems like it was just yesterday. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago, which is like yesterday when you have a holiday weekend in between. But Central Kentucky Mystical Market, Lexington's premier monthly psychic and holistic event, even in the Bible Belt that is Lexington, Kentucky. It's at the Clarion Inn on Newtown Pike. I will probably not be able to attend this weekend, but if you want to go up and give my lovely wife, Anita, a hug, she'll be at the Scarefest radio booth hawking t-shirts and sweatshirts as usual. Quick reminder, the film festival entries are still open. We will be running those right up until the beginning of October. Go to thescarefest.com or filmfreeway.com and type in The Scarefest to enter your independent horror short, medium short, or feature. And finally, I just want to remind everybody, just because it can, go to scarefestradio.com. The archives are like 3 months behind. I'm aware of that, but we still have gift shops up to date. We got hats, we got some t-shirts, we got all kinds of stuff for us and the Scarefest. All right, back to my guest. Now, the Octagon Hall. Now, that's the picture that you all sent in for your banner. Octagon Hall. Never been, heard nothing but good things about it. Tell me a little bit about the experiences at Octagon Hall.
That place was awesome. From start to finish, it was like activity constantly. Noises, taps on the walls, taps everywhere. You could hear voices. I caught EVPs on my recorder. That was where we first tried our spirit box experiment. I don't know if you guys have seen stuff like that on TV where people will be blindfolded and have the noise canceling headphones on with the spirit box attached. We did a lot of communicating like that. We got really good stuff from there. We were able to communicate with several different people. There's so many spirits there though that it can be extremely congested trying to figure out who you're talking to. But that was a really good experience for us all.
And on an additional level, like, so the paranormal investigation part is awesome, as you know, obviously, but just the history of the building, the history of the area, the artifacts and kind of museum stuff they've got set up in the building makes it just so much better and so much, it adds a whole nother layer to it. Because I think if you really want to understand the investigation and the history behind what you're doing, you have to understand the place and what went on there. And they've got just such a great layout and setup for you to have just the best experience that you could possibly have. I got nothing but good things to say about it. And like Beth said, it was very active, very enjoyable time.
Guy that runs it, Bill? I want to say his name's Bill.
Bear?
Bear.
Barry? Yeah, he calls himself Bear.
Okay, well, I was close.
Yeah.
It was a B sound.
Pretty...
That's my psychic. It's a B name. Okay. Anyway,
Bear is awesome.
I've heard nothing but good things about the place, and it's on my bucket list at this point. I don't get out and I don't do what I don't go sun anymore. Somebody walls are bleeding. They call me to clear the place, but as far as just going and talking to them, I don't get to do that stuff anymore. And I miss the girls at the Ross, no matter what anybody says. Okay, Chrissy, you've been terribly quiet, so I'm just going to put you on the spot. What is your favorite location in the state of Kentucky? And I don't mean necessarily evidence-wise. I mean, I want to know just personal favorite.
Okay. Well, I am new, so I am developing my skills. And like Beth said to begin with, I'm an empath. I am a sensitive. And actually, to get a little bit more personal, in my life, I dream. So, and that's kind of beside the point, but I'm developing my skills. I'm learning to work with the spirit box. I can't really, I don't really hear the best on it, but I'm trying to learn to develop that skill. So I am kind of secondary right now when we go out and do these things, but I'm really shadowing Beth a whole lot, and I'm trying to sponge and soak up a lot of what she's teaching me so that I can take on more of a role. So I am really learning. But I've been on a couple trips, but we've been out of state. So
so that doesn't count.
Yeah, so that doesn't count.
So after avoiding the question, now I'm going to call you Beth and Chrissy on the carpet, because when we were having technical difficulties, I asked if anybody was psychic, and then no, but we're empaths. And developing all this. No, okay, it counts. It counts. Now, Beth, I want to ask you about that. When you started, did you get into ghost hunting because you felt you had a connection to the other side, or did you develop that connection to the other side after you got into ghost hunting?
No, I've had it my whole life.
Yeah, and I think I've had it my whole life. I used to be super scared about it, but I've always had experiences, and you can ask my parents. They said that I used to be scared of everything, and it took me a while to embrace it. And there was also that stigma for a little bit, like, you don't talk about stuff like that. And then as I've gotten older, you know what, I just don't care anymore. And I started going ghost hunting with a couple coworkers, and I loved it, and I started getting more comfortable. And it's gotten to where, like, that's my comfort zone now. I love talking to or hearing the spirits and getting evidence, and I want that stigma to be gone, and I want more people to be comfortable with spirits and being able to investigate and not think it's something bad or weird, or, it could be weird. I'm weird, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
My thing about that. Go ahead, Chrissy.
I'm sorry. In our group, I feel like we all have strengths. Some people hear very well, like with the spirit box. We have one member that she really, really hears. I mean, she puts the headphones on and closes her eyes, and that girl can hear. Paulette, she hears. And the word, the questions are asked, and the spirits speak to her. I swear. Nick, I mean, he leads through things, and Kimberly, she's an empath, and she feels things. Beth, she feels things. Dawn, she walks around, and she knows kind of where to go, and she talks to people. Beth's mom, she has this way with the children that are around. I mean, each one of our members, we have skills, and we just work together, and I just love the way our group works, period. And we just work together. I haven't been with Julian
on a trip person, basically. He's our tech person.
Yeah. So
I'm okay, Kirsty, I'm gonna give you some old time ghost hunter advice. Okay, on hearing EVP, even if you're just using an EVP recorder or but on ghost box. Okay, next time you go out, I want you to do. Okay, you've got probably you all are carrying around a set of cans, really good set of headphones, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, once you go to the dollar store, I want you to buy a cheap set of headphones. And I want you to go to the dollar store, and I want you to get a pair of earbuds. Mm-hmm. The different speakers you will be able to pick up on different tonal qualities based on your hearing. In other words, just having but if it sucks, it's usually tuned to a certain, we'll call it frequency. In other words, a lot of people cannot hear low frequencies. They can hear high-pitched frequencies better. And if you'll do that, and the reason I know that is because in the process of countless hours of listening to EVPs and got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of listening to stuff myself talk to walls all night, I found out that if I was in doubt, I always listen to it on a good set of headphones. But then I could I found out that if I played it on my laptop on the little shitty built-in speakers, I could hear things that I couldn't hear on the headphones. And then other time, then I developed that into, well, let's play it on the home stereo, the big 80-inch woofers. Different speakers will bring out different tonal qualities that you might be able to pick up on. So, a little advice there.
Okay.
And there was something else I was going to talk about. Oh, what was it? It was, I know it had something to do with being impasse, but moving on. It'll come back to me like on a commercial break. Where, if you,
I think you were calling them liars because they said that they were sensitive, and now they've both admitted to it.
I had moved on from that. I wasn't going to harp on that, but I actually can.
I went like this. When you said that, when you asked the question, I went.
I know what I was going to talk about. You mentioned child spirits, of course, and I know Octagon has like one little girl that apparently rattles the place. Ross Opera House is famous for them. But, and you said you had one member on your team, and I think that's what you meant when you said they were really good with children. I assume you meant the dead ones.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, see, I fall into that category too, which is really weird because I hate kids. I have no use for kids. But it's because, but I really think it's first of all, there's two parts of it. Most of the child spirits, when you actually, especially if you get a name or something from EVPs or history or whatever, you'll find out they died when they were like 40, 80, So words all the child, and a lot of people, this actually gets into the people wanting to say, oh, ghost hunting, it's a demon because they're, a child. No, I do believe that the ones that stick around, I think sometimes they go back to whatever their favorite point in life is. In other words, if that's their best memories, they'll go back to that. But on the I just wanted to know if y'all had ever like researched a place and came up with names that match, but then you realize, well, then there's no kids here, or that wasn't a kid. Have you all ever come across that where the kid you thought you were talking to wasn't a kid?
Yeah, actually, I think all the kids that we've talked to, there's the one at Octagon Hall.
Yeah, now she's got a whole legend behind her.
Yeah, she was very talkative with us, and we could sense her sadness too, and Bear, I guess he's the caretaker, or he just coordinates everything over there. He pretty much, he watched all of our recordings and stuff, and everything lined up. So, and then we recently, our biggest one, and it wasn't in Kentucky, but it wasn't too far out, back in Randolph County, Indiana. We went to the Stone Mansion and the asylum up there. But at the Stone Mansion, there was a little girl there, and everything lined up there too. So
the reason I bring it up, I've always heard that, and to me, there's just way too many fucking kids. Okay, when every place you go, that's haunted, there's children, and I couldn't figure it out. Well, we lucked out at the Ross Opera House. We had gotten names, and some through psychics, but some through ghost box. But we had gotten names. Well, we went back and matched the names up with people connected to the building that had passed away, and come to find out they lived to ripe old ages. But the names were there independently of what we found. So that kind of makes me think, that everything is not as it seems. But that still to me, that doesn't mean it's nefarious. Of course, now the little girl you're talking about at Octagon, if I remember the story correctly, she died in a fireplace or something like that. Or got burned. She didn't die in the fireplace because somebody pulled her out. But the point is she died of burns. Now, how long has the group been together?
Honestly, for it to be like completely formed back in December, we decided to make it like a real thing. But we were already ghost hunting together for a couple of years before that. And, you know, Nick came to me in December, was like, hey, let's build a website. Let's start putting our stuff out there. And that's when we started putting everything together and made it more of a professional type group. So it's really not been around too long, but
okay, as a
we've
group,
been ghost hunting.
Okay,
yeah,
no, fair enough. I'm gonna I'm just gonna go back to my roots in paranormal interviews. I'm gonna ask each one of you, what actually brought you to ghost hunting? Beth, you kind of touched on it. I'll start with you because you kind of touched on it before. But what made you want to get out and stomp around dark buildings?
Like I said, I grew up feeling things and knowing that stuff was around me. And for the longest time, you know, my parents would be like, oh no, that's just a house settling or something like that, because I would get a little bit scared. But as I got older, you know, I never thought that I would actually love doing something like this. But I went to a couple and it's weird to think back because the first couple of investigations I did, I had no equipment. I just went. And so I'd be there and I would just feel these things, and I just got more comfortable over time. And it seems like spirits just really, they just want to talk to somebody like anybody else, like living would. And it makes you feel comfortable and like, you know, not like you're making friends, but it's nice to feel like you can be there to communicate with them.
See, now my opinion,
I've loved it ever since.
I agree with you, except they're worse than people because they can't follow instructions and they're just enormously needy.
Oh God,
they're always needy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take our final commercial break. When we come back, we'll hit Chrissy and Nick up for their stories. Everybody will be right back. Everyone is talking about CBD oil. Most of us know that CBD is a cannabis compound that has significant medical benefits, but does not make people high. Its benefits include pain relief, anti-seizure properties, anxiety relief, fights cancer, reduces the risk of diabetes, and it is even used as a sleep aid. Blue Leaf Naturals CBD and hemp products are full-spectrum hemp extract oils. They use only hemp grown in Kentucky, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses and helping you and your family stay healthy and well. Blue Leaf Naturals, created with care from seed to shelf. Visit their website at blueleafnaturals.com. Blue Leaf Naturals, a Kentucky proud company.
Horror, movie, fans, for life. On Facebook, find us. For watch parties, for news, for memes, for friends, for life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
Bad production there on my part because I still have the mouse. Everybody, welcome back to Scarefest TV. We're talking to the Bluegrass Ghost Hunters. Same question to you, Chrissy. What lit the fire in your belly? that you need to go through dark houses and then watch 24 hours of video for a 2-hour investigation?
Well, spirits have been kind of following me around for about, 25-ish years, and I've felt this way for a long time, and like-minded people kind of sought me out to do it too, Beth. And I have the dreams, and why not? This allows me to live it, and go see and seek them out instead of just waiting for them to come to me. I really have a good time. That's it.
I could teach both of these chicks to be mediums. Anyway, Nick.
That would be freaking awesome.
And I'm not even that good at it, Chrissy. I'm just saying.
I'm looking for spirit. I would like for spirit to talk to me. I'm trying to open my channel. I do meditations to try and open my channel all the time.
Yeah, I could totally turn you on to it. I just know it. Nick, buddy, sitting there quietly.
Yes.
How did you get the fire in your belly to go around and investigate these places?
So for me, I always believed in ghosts, but I never took much of an interest in them. Never watched the ghost shows or anything like that. Beth and I used to work together, and she convinced me to go on a weekend ghost hunting trip to the Thomas House Hotel in Red Boiling Springs. So her husband Chad, me, and my ex-wife, we were married at the time. We took that trip, went down there. I didn't really expect much. I expected a nice little weekend trip. And during the course of that investigation, I saw an apparition of a ghost that is Mr. Cloyd on the property. If you do some research, he was the caretaker kind of guy of the place. And without knowing what I was supposed to or what other people had seen, I saw this, and it immediately just cemented it for me. Like, yeah, I believed in ghosts, but now I'd actually seen one. And from that point forward, like, I was all in. And that's when I started talking to Beth about, hey, we should do this on our own for ourselves, get away from these tourist kind of ghost hunts, and let's start doing this thing for real. And this, every ghost hunt we do, every trip we take, every building we enter, I still always go back to remembering what it was like to see that apparition walk across the doorway and then walk back, and to see the cat balls going off and everything that happened. It's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And it's the anchoring point of everything we do for me from this point forward is knowing what I saw and what made me go 100% in on this thing.
See, now I on the other hand, now I've recorded some great stuff, video and audio. I've seen one apparition, and it was out of the corner of my eye. Could have been totally imagining it. I envy you, Nick, but the problem now you're going to have is after a couple of years of this and you don't see another one, you're going to go, son of a bitch, I'm bored. Well, the follow-up doesn't really work where you all are really just coming together as friends. What is so I'll ask this: where in the area are you dying to go that you have not been?
I have been to a lot of places, so this is probably better for Chrissy and Nick.
I want to go to the Octagon Hall.
You've not got to go there yet.
No. I need to go there. Don't want to. I need, want to, but very much need to.
For me, I think that we have a couple of opportunities presented to us to investigate some private residential homes for people that are having some issues, and they want to kind of figure out, what's going on in their house, and for me, I think that's a whole new area of exploration and a whole new area of direction for us to explore, because these are things that only a few people have encountered, have witnessed. It's not like the mass reporting from places like Waverly Hills, Bobby Mackey, stuff like that. This is a chance for us to use something that interests us and something that we have an ability to do, and to help people out and kind of help them figure out what's going on in their lives and their homes. So for me, that's kind of a really exciting prospect moving forward with this thing.
I guess I should touch on the big gun in the state of Kentucky, because Bobby Mackey's in it. Waverly, have any of you or all of you been to Waverly?
I have. I've been once, and it's been a couple years back. That is actually the first place that I ever got any kind of evidence from, and I took a picture in a dark room and caught this figure in the doorway. So that kind of also was something that triggered me wanting to, keep going back to these places to get evidence. We actually have an upcoming private overnight 8-hour investigation coming up in August that we're really excited about. We're actually teaming up with a couple other people in paranormal groups. We're doing that overnight.
You're going to Waverly in August?
Yes.
You do realize that building is on the face of the sun. Just giving you a heads up. Just giving you a heads up.
At night.
No.
At night. It'll be all right.
They get really cold really easily, so I'm sure they'll all have blankets anyways.
Yeah, I get cold easy.
Okay, well then you might be all right.
The steps will warm you up.
Yeah, the steps will warm you up. The gosh, I've been.
Oh yeah, to the death chute.
No, the whole building is stairs. On TV, it looks big and wide, but trust me, the entire building is just stairs. That's all it is.
That's true. Yeah.
What it is, there's technically 5 levels, and there'll be somebody in your group that when you're on the bottom floor, let's go to the nurses' quarters up on top, and so you'll run up the stairs. But I think it was the last time I went, and it was I will never go back to that place in August unless somebody pays my ass. I'm telling you, it was hot. It was just hot. And who's the youngest member of your team?
Probably me. Yeah, I'm 30.
Okay, well no, then at 30 you'll be fine then. It's the college kids that'll try to kill you in a place like that. So okay, now let's touch real quick on your actual presentation. Tell the people what you'll be actually showing them or telling them at the Scare Fest.
I want to definitely talk about, I do want to talk about the most talked about places in Kentucky, but the big majority of it, I want to talk about these places that people don't know, especially like the Bethlehem Academy. Not a lot of people know about the Bethlehem Academy. And that's one of my favorite places. And they're actually restoring it right now so that they can have more people come in and do tours and investigations. They do some tours and investigations now, but it's an older building. So they're trying to make it a little bit more accessible to people. That's one of my favorite places I do want to touch on. So, then I want to talk about, what's that other one? I want to talk about the Opera House. Not a lot of people know about the Opera House unless you're from this area. And then we've got Octagon Hall. I definitely want to talk about it. Even though it is a little bit of a bigger name, I really didn't know about it until I researched. So, and we've got Perryville Battlefield coming up, so we're going to talk about it. I just really want to touch on all the Kentucky places, especially the lower end ones that people don't know too much about. And I will talk about Waverly and Bobby Mackey's too, but we want to talk about the history of these places and show everybody the evidence that we've gotten there, and hopefully make it to where people want to visit these places and it's not somewhere where people should be super scared of. And, you know, hopefully get this stigma out of Lexington so that we can open it up for places in Lexington.
And she's right. Just like I talked about with Octagon Hall, Bethlehem Academy, paranormal activity aside, it's a beautiful building. There are some beautiful murals painted on the walls. What they're trying to do in restoring it and making it a place for, you know, not just investigations, but, you know, a destination for events and you know, pictures for any number of reasons. They're really doing some yeoman's work there. And the lady that's kind of caretaking it and running it, Andrea Hill, you want to talk about a medium. You want to talk about somebody that can do this stuff.
She's
somebody to talk to. So
yeah,
Bethlehem Academy, I think definitely deserves some more recognition, a spotlight on it. And like Beth said, you know, just touching on Kentucky, touching on the history that this state has, the interaction and interweaving of hauntings and the dark past. Those are the kind of things, and our personal experiences, you know, what brings us, like you ask us, what brings us to this, how we feel during these investigations. Those are things that I think people will enjoy hearing, and stories that they'll enjoy. So we're looking forward to it. We're really excited about it.
And I want to thank you all for coming on the show on pretty damn short notice, as in we threw this together. And it showed. Yes, that was all me. But you've been great guests. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person at the Scarefest, everybody. We'll see them there. We'll see you next week. And we're going to close out the show with our movie review and then enjoy.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis, Bonehead Weekly. And the one I'm going to review today, this is right on the poster, 3 reviews. This critically acclaimed film. A mesmerizing horror masterpiece, Esquire. A religious experience, IndieWire. An unholy terror, Variety. This movie is written and directed by a lady named Rose Glass, who'd made short films before, and the movie's called Saint Maude. And Saint Maude is about a nurse who is very pious. She beats herself. She's very religious. She's had some sort of trauma previously in her life that we now know that was an awful experience, and it somehow shoved her to this form of Christianity that she's taken to another level. And she becomes dangerously obsessed with a patient of saving the soul of a dying patient who has cancer, who obviously doesn't want to be helped, who's agnostic at best, probably an atheist, and doesn't want to be bothered with her. She just wants her to take care of her. Now, is she seeing demons? Is she possessed? Is she just crazy? Here's the truth about Saint Maude, in my opinion. It's extremely well acted. It is well written. It's well acted. The lead actress's name is Morfydd Clark. I liked her in Dracula. She played Mina in Dracula. The problem is I've seen this movie about 10,000 damn times. So it's critically acclaimed, but it's the same story. And women, ladies out there, ladies in my life, I think, and I would say, well, this is just a man doing all this, but it's not. I looked at a lot of these movies and are written and directed by women. And it's about these women who are emotionally stunted and can't release, and they find this thing, or they see in visions, they can't express themselves, and the only way to do that is to eventually die in something. And are they possessed? Are they crazy? I keep seeing this. Why do women treat other women like they're always insane? I just feel like we've seen this movie a dozen times about a lady who needs attention. It's not getting the attention she needs. So she goes off to do some sort of crazy thing. Why are women always crazy in these movies, even if they're written and directed by men or women? Why aren't more men crazy in these movies? Why can't men go through these things? I just feel like for the last 10, 15 years, I have seen this story over and over and over and over. Clearly, she's crazy. The movie doesn't even try to hide it too much that she may be or maybe not seeing visions, that it's really in her head. The movie does a pretty good job of saying this is in her head. This movie is just completely overhyped. One of the actual user reviews on IMDb goes, this is one of those where some people say, oh my God, this is great. And then they just all fall in line. And I guess that's what it is. If you actually look at the rating, it's 6 point something. It's right there above the middle. Did I like the movie? Like I said, it's very well acted. I'm just sick and tired of this bullshit story, though, that we keep seeing of a woman who just can't handle her emotions. I honestly, God, thank you guys whom I've known. Don't get me wrong. I've known some crazy ladies. A few of them have tried to, and I've known some crazy men. But I think I want to give women more credit than these bullshit stories. Not all these ladies are out here just pining for someone to love them, whether it be a man or a woman. Honestly, I think this all started with May, which is a great movie with Angela Bettis. Check out May. And every other one of these is just a ripoff of May, which was 15 to 20 years ago. This has been Joe Lewis. Do not watch St. Maude, but if you like this type of movie, it's on Paramount Plus. Women, you're not as crazy as these movies say.